instigate, from the Latin instigere, to urge on or incite. Merriam-Webster defines instigating as to goad or to urge forward, provoke, as you will. You see, one does not simply become an instigator. One is born an instigator. Certain characters rise to prominence not for their heroics or their virtuous deeds, but for their immaculable ability to instigate, disrupt, and sow the seeds of chaos. These characters, the instigators, weave narratives with their cunning strategies, malevolent intentions, or simply their insatiable thirst for disorder. Whether clad in the guise of a calculating villain, a mischievous trickster, or an anti-hero with a petulance for anarchy, these figures command attention and propel stories into riveting territories. Join me as we discuss the masters of instigation. But before we start, don't forget to comment and subscribe, and hit that like button while you're at it. To start off, we got Alfred Pennyworth. Behind the polished veneer of a refined English butler lies a mastermind with a devious sense of humor. There is no way a little boy tells you that he wants to become a one-man army, and your first response was, "How can I help you?" Excuse me, Kay? While he doesn't explicitly push Bruce into this role, his guidance and assistance with the Batcave and gadgets instigates the transformation from a grieving billionaire with mommy and daddy issues to the Dark Knight. Alfred also takes an active role in training and mentoring his successors and sidekicks like Dick Grayson and others who take on the mantle of Batman. But why would he want another person to become Batman? Because he loves to instigate the conflict in Gotham City. He is truly an agent of chaos. I promise you that I would not be surprised if Alfred was part of the Court of Owls, the way he's controlling things behind the scenes. But I know what some of y'all saying. Alfred is the main one trying to help people get out of the superhero life. That's what an instigator and professional gaslighter must do. They have to give you the illusion of control, but they are the main ones in control the entire time. What's the classic line every toxic partner always says? "You're too good for me," or "You should just leave me." It's the same thing with Alfred, telling these people that they shouldn't be superheroes when he knows in actuality that they're never gonna quit becoming superheroes. They're always gonna go back to the capes, but he gives them the illusion that they actually have a choice to get out of it. He knows these kids are adrenaline junkies and they will never give up crime fighting. But why? Because he likes to see them suffer. Let's not forget that this man also helps Bruce in money laundering. One of these days, the IRS is going to catch him and the whole Bat family is gonna go down.
I don't care who the IRS sends, I am not paying taxes.
I'm not gonna lie, this man Alfred is really like a white Tyler Perry villain. But, like almost every country with an Independence Day will tell you, never trust a British man. Next on the list, we got Friar Lawrence. If you ever read Romeo and Juliet, the narrative might convince you that this man is a nice priest, but you would be surely mistaken. He is actually a master instigator. For example, Friar Lawrence agrees to marry 2 teenagers.
When you say teenage, how are we talking?
16-year-old Romeo and 13-year-old Juliet, secretly, hoping it would unite the 2 feuding families, the Montagues and the Capulets. But he knows these people have had beef for over 100 years. He really thought a marriage was going to end that beef? Hell no! He just wanted to see the chaos and destruction that their union would cost. Let's not forget, to help Juliet escape her impending marriage to Paris, Friar Lawrence gives her a sleeping potion that induces a death-like state. This was a terrible plan, because it ended up in the deaths of many, including the deaths of our main characters. You want to know why Friar Lawrence wasn't at the Capulet tomb to tell Romeo the truth about Juliet? It wasn't because he didn't have time, it was because he was instigating the entire time! But why? My theory has always been that the Capulets and Montagues weren't tithing, and Friar Lawrence wasn't having all that, so he had to send them a message. So remember kids, don't forget to tithe to your church!
Cash up, cash up, cash up, cash up, Zelle, mama, PayPal, boy!
Coming up next, we got John Kramer. Probably one of the best movie villains ever. Just happens to be one of the greatest instigators and gaslighters of all time. His actions are motivated by the desire to make individuals appreciate their lives through extreme moral tests. Throughout the first movie, he convinces these two guys that they must work together to get out. Then, at the end, to make sure that only one of them gets out, he basically rigs the game. But that was all a lie because he had no real intention of having either one of them get out for real. Or the time he tests Amanda Young, a former drug addict, in a reverse bear trap device. If she doesn't retrieve the key in time, the trap will kill her. This test starts Amanda's journey into becoming Jigsaw's apprentice. If that was it, it's not that extreme, considering how far he goes in these movies. But he puts her through another test with a bunch of other people, where she is thrown into a vat of needles. Remember now, she survived her original trial. That means she should be held free. But he wasn't trying to set her free. He just wanted an apprentice, for real. He just wanted a do-boy or a do-girl. I haven't seen this level of gaslighting in a while. The worst case has to be in the newest movie where he doesn't even try to hide how much of an instigator he is, because he didn't even try to make these traps escapable. He was on a mission to get back at all those people who did him dirty. And to be honest, I can't be mad at him. Don't lie to people that you have to cure the cancer. That's something you shouldn't do. Next, we got my dog, Riley Freeman. Riley is responsible for some of the Boondocks' most quotable and iconic moments.
Who shot me? Granddad tried to assassinate me. Now, are you sure that...
I said pull that trigger now!
You want to play rough? Okay, say hello to my little friend.
And half of those are just him instigating situations. Like the time he didn't want to eat Granddad's soul food, and Granddad ended up creating the Luther, the most unhealthiest sandwich of all time, leading to the townsfolk becoming crazy grease-filled zombies. The best example has to be the stink meter incident. This boy was the first one to escalate the situation. He was narrating the whole fight and everything, and then he has the audacity to make fun of Granddad for getting his ass beat by a blind old man. And when Huey tries to talk Granddad out of fighting Stink Meaner again, Riley says he'll call him a punk if he doesn't fight him. You had this boy making posters and selling tickets to this fight between an old man and an old blind man. If that doesn't give him a gold medal in instigating, I don't know what would. At the end, when everyone asks for their money back, he throws a chair into the crowd to start a riot. Just a reminder that you are never too young to be an instigator. I just realized Riley's one of them boys on the corner that Dr. Umar be talking about.
But I'm telling you, as a psychologist, I'm not going to be able to psychologize all of them on the corner. Some of them going to sleep. Fuck God!
Let's go into the world of anime for our next instigator, Vegeta, the prince of all Saiyans. More like the prince of all instigators. Get it? Get it?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
From the second this man landed on Earth, he started instigating. This man was really just hyping up Nappa until Goku came and acted like he was useless afterwards. And after Krillin spares him, he hits him with that, "Is that all you got?" smile.
Vagina face.
During the Android saga, Vegeta was ready to fight every single Z fighter to get the chance to fight the androids. And after the androids get activated and he gets his ass handed to him by Android 18, which he instigated, by the way, he has the audacity to run away like a little girl.
Damn, you hit that nigga so hard to replay 3 different times!
When he said he wanted all the smoke. I think we all know the most egregious case of instigating in the entire series is when he let Cell achieve his perfect form. Before Cell was in his perfect form, Vegeta was playing around with him the whole fight and even said Trunks is almost as strong as him. So Cell pleads with this man so he can achieve his final form, and when he does, it completely backfires on Vegeta. Not only did Cell beat the brakes off this man and humiliated his ass, his son Trunks, the one he said he didn't think was as strong as him, was stronger than him the entire time.
Should I tone it down so you can keep up, monkey?
All the instigating amounted to absolutely nothing. And don't even get me started on when he became Majin Vegeta. Next, we got my favorite character in all of Looney Tunes, Daffy Duck. I think the Looney Tunes show has to be one of the best representations of how much of an instigator Daffy really is. Like the time he went to the ice cream shop to get a job, but when he realized he couldn't read the job application, he was like, nah, I don't want to get this job because of this ridiculous uniform. He had the audacity to ask this man to make a custom banana split.
No nut dust. Now this is the complicated part. No green sprinkles on the chocolate. Yes, green sprinkles on the strawberry. But both no red sprinkles. Except on the vanilla, which should receive exclusively red sprinkles.
We serve food here, sir.
And then at the end, only give him a couple cents to pay for it. And tell him the rest of it is in the tip jar. He is truly diabolical. Later in the same episode, he steals the idea for the automatic carrot peeler from Bugs, and he's trying to sell it to this lady. He apologizes for saying that her son looks like a girl, and then when the lady refuses to buy it, he doubles down and says her son looks like a girl. He ends up making a boatload of cash off the automatic carrot peeler, and that ends up leaving Bugs broke. This gets even more crazy when you realize that Bugs has to sell the house while Daffy is still living with him. He also ends up making changes to the house and relationship with Bugs because he is the one with the money now. But when the automatic carrot peeler ends up blowing up in people's faces, who does he go back to save him? Even after all of that, he still does not learn from his lesson because in the next episode, he goes back to his old ways, instigating. Instigating truly is in this man's blood and soul. Up next, we got Bishop from Juice. To be honest, I can understand why Bishop is the way he is because if I was being bullied and sexually harassed in the hood, shoot, I might not come out the other side completely sane. But that's not an excuse to become the hood Ted Bundy. He's the main one throughout the entire movie saying that they need to get the juice and they need to get active. He also eggs on Raheem when he sees his baby mama with another man and comes up behind him and says, what would you do if that was your woman? What do you mean, what if I would do if that was my woman? That is my woman. Shouldn't you know what my woman looks like? Aren't we friends? He basically wanted to see if Raheem was going to beat that man's ass. He then basically tells his boys that they have to be willing to die if they want the juice. Basically implying that they're all pussy. Acting like he wasn't running away with them from the Puerto Ricans. He's the main one instigating the grocery store robbery. Not to mention, he escalates the situation by shooting the shopkeeper when he didn't have to, and then he kills Raheem on quote-unquote accident. And then when the cops come to take them in for questioning, he hits us with the coldest lines in cinematic history.
Raheem is dead. Somebody shot him.
And at his funeral, he starts hugging and kissing this man's family. The cherry on top is that he says Raheem was like a brother to him and hits Omar Epps with the coldest glare in cinematic history. Then he starts hunting down everyone in the friend group to tie up loose ends for something that he got them into because he knows if he was in their position, that's exactly what he would have done. It's crazy how it all ended up with him falling off the roof. A terrible death for a terrible person. The final person I got on this list is Dr. Gregory House. Where can I start with this guy? How about every time he keeps it real with his patients just to get a response out of them? And when it's not a response he likes, he pisses them off even more.
Arrogant enough to think that of the 50 billion galaxies, 100 billion stars per galaxy, and 10 million billion planets in the universe, that we're the only ones with life.
No. But I'm guessing we're the only ones who like shoving things through our back doors.
Remember the time he just had to apologize to someone to avoid getting sued, but he took it to trial anyways? Or how he loves to interfere with people's personal lives because his life is so miserable, because he's a drug addict? He has ruined so many relationships throughout the whole series under the guise of that he just wants the best for people. But it's really because he can't stand to see people happy. I just realized that it's crazy how I put two things that Omar Epps has acted in on this list. Free my man Omar Epps. Omar Epps really be the victim in every role he's in. But I also have a theory that Juice and House take place in the same universe. I know it doesn't make any sense, but I think at the end of Juice, Q and his family had to go into witness protection to escape the Puerto Rican gang, and Q quit DJing and decided to pursue a career in medicine. But that's just a theory.
Film theory.
In season 4, episode 2, The Right Stuff, it shows how far this man is willing to go to instigate. House treats a fighter pilot whose confused vision and hearing causes her to hallucinate. She pays him a lot of money up front because she doesn't want the military to know, because she is supposed to be working with NASA on a satellite. And if there is anything wrong with her, she can't work with them. They open her up by giving her breast implants to explain why she had to have an operation. But it doesn't matter because House told NASA anyways. So he gave this woman breast implants for nothing. Truly diabolical behavior from Dr. Gregory House. Honorable mentions, or some might say dishonorable mentions. Honorable mentions go to Eric Cartman. He made a kid eat his parents. I feel like that's enough said. Peter Parker is another one. He's the reason half his villains become villains in the first place in most continuities. And he can really end most fights in one punch if we're being honest, but instead he just likes to talk shit and let the time go by. And another honorable mention for Rick from Rick and Morty. He's instigated the destruction of several planets and dimensions and has gaslit his family in every single one. He is truly a destroyer of worlds and family when it comes to instigating. But tell me how you feel about my list. Was I off? Was I being too harsh on these people? Tell me in the comments section below. Also, a big thanks to every new subscriber. This channel only had just over 100 subscribers in a week, and we're almost at 1K. You guys are great, and I hope you guys continue with me on my YouTube journey. But as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that like button while you're at it. And I'll see you in the next video.